Hello, I'm Len Brown, Len Brown's Innovations, formerly Ortho-Flex Saddle Company. I do business now as Len Brown's Innovations and also Black Mesa Custom Tree and Saddle. This is Jo Gadberry. She owns Running Star Ranch, and it's nice of her to have us out here on this nice balmy January Missouri day. So thank you for toughing it out, Jo. We'll see how the horses do now.
That'll do wonderful.
But what I'm doing here today is checking Jo's horses. She's very conscientious of her lesson horses here at her barn and wanting to know what kind of shape they're in, if they have problems. She's had some vets out here and chiropractors, I think. But I have been palpating horses for soreness. I rather started this in this country, a thing called Saddle Fit, and I used to call it sore horse clinics, not saddle fit clinics. So in what I'm doing today, I will try to remove the word fit from my vocabulary and use the word work in place of it. So the question is, does your saddle work? Because the horse is a moving animal. And you can fit a horse all day long while he's standing. Oftentimes, it doesn't work while you're riding. So we'll look at some of Jo's saddles later. We won't do everything that could be done in a clinic today, but I will go into saddle trees. And if I see problems in a horse, I'll pull out a tree. I'll look at her saddle maybe, and we'll show you what's causing the problem in the horse. But I don't need a saddle to see the problem. Anything you do with the horse can be stressing the horse a little too much, whether you override, ride very improperly in some sports, or turn around and have a saddle that's causing the horse to dorsiflex his back and causing problems deep in the spine. I'll go into that in a little while because I have a spinal column here from an old friend of mine that did a 3,000-mile horseback trip with me in 1982. I had 5 horses, a very nice young lady named Lisa Ann Dawes, and myself lived outdoors, rode 8 months with 5 horses, and we traveled New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, back across northeast Colorado through the blizzards, and across Kansas in November in 1982. Living outdoors the whole time, never stayed in a motel once. I learned a lot about saddling. I made my saddle for that trip. I thought I knew a lot when I got through with this trip. I never had a white hair on my black horse after 3,000 miles. But come to find out, I was just a beginner after that trip. So I've been learning ever since. It's now 2016. That was 1982. I'm still learning. So thank you very much, Jo. And we'll do one horse at a time. I'll show you how I palpate horses. And the main thing is not to walk up to a horse and start poking on the horse. The second thing is not to look at the horse and say, oh, he has a lumbar that's out. See how it's high on the right and low on the left. And he has a shoulder that's out because he's bigger on the right and smaller on the left. And so on and so forth. This gives a chiropractor continual work. But in all truth, you can't judge a horse's conformation, you can't judge saddle fit, and you can't judge whether anything's out or not when a horse is standing. You can only judge it while he's moving. So if you think you have a horse that's out, if your chiropractor's told you the lumbar's out and all this other stuff, then have somebody walk the horse. You walk along behind, look over the croup, and look at the back and movement. 9 times out of 10, you'll find that everything's symmetrical. Occasionally, very occasionally, you'll find a very big shoulder on one side of a horse that's that way. It's been that way for a long time. It's not going to change. I had one of those horses on my 3,000-mile horseback trip. So what I did was to build my saddle tree differently for that horse. We mostly packed that horse, rode him occasionally to keep the saddle in the middle of the horse's back, accommodate for his extra large shoulder. So This is to give you a little information for yourself when it comes to the quote experts today that are going to help fix your horse. They have one hand out and they are putting stuff in the pocket with the other one in too many cases. So what I can show you in deep pressure massage and what I've shown people in clinics before, anyone can do. Bill Mars has a book, Beating Saddle Soring in Horses and Deep Muscle Massage. It's been available to everybody for 30 years. He was an expert at this, worked for the U.S. equestrian team, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started.